This video is brought to you by my supporters on Patreon. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Welcome to Cosplay! So in this episode, I'm going to be talking about whether you should buy or make your costumes. So one of the big things that helps me decide whether or not I should buy or make a specific costume is it cheaper to buy it or cheaper to make it? So sometimes I'm able to find a costume online that is similar to the price of what the materials to make that cosplay would cost. Sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, but then I also have to consider or factor in the fact that I wouldn't have to spend a whole bunch of time making this, so that technically makes it less expensive if you consider not charging for your time, but thinking in your head, well, this amount of time, if I was to charge for it, it would be this amount of money. And that is the reason why I got this cosplay, for example. This is the cosplay for Sailor Venus. I found this on eBay. It was around $40 or $50, which I think was slightly more than what materials would have costed me, but then I didn't have to spend time making it. Another thing that factors into deciding is, do I have the skills to make it? And at the time, I didn't feel confident in my skills to sew something like the sleeves or the waistband. I didn't know of any existing patterns for Sailor Scout uniforms. I know they exist now. I wasn't sure if they existed when I originally cosplayed her. So that definitely helped in making my decision. Sometimes people think maybe the quality will be sacrificed if you buy a wholesale costume from a website or from eBay. You really just have to pay attention to the sellers, the reviews they get, and to the pictures. That's what I did. I saw a lot of costumes that had that really shiny satin material for the skirt, and I didn't necessarily wanted that. I wanted something a bit more muted, and that is why I picked this one. It kind of shows up a little bit shiny on camera, but it isn't. It's a lot more matte than it is shiny, and it's not satin. And so I wouldn't say lucky, because I did a lot of research before picking a seller to buy from and before picking a listing to buy. That really helped me pick something that was good and that I really was happy with the quality of. Sometimes there aren't really any good whatever listings, like a costume that looks like it's really good and made from the materials that you wanted it to be made from. Sometimes they look really cheap and you just can't seem to find one that doesn't look that way. And it can be really difficult. And so around the time I cosplayed Sami, I didn't really know of any really good listings, or if there were any at all. I kind of tried to look around but didn't find too much. I kind of settled early on that I was going to make her. Another thing that helped me decide to make her is I looked at this costume and I just decided this was a project that I wanted to tackle. There are some things that you are going to cosplay that you might be like, well, I really want to make this. I really want to give my go at making this. I might not be up to par with the skills needed to make this, but I'm going to try anyways. And so that is a good reason to make it over buy it. Another factor that can help you decide whether you should make or buy a cosplay is how much time you have before your deadline, because sometimes you won't have enough time to make it, because making it does take a while sometimes, especially with certain cosplays that are more difficult or complicated or larger or whatever. So if you don't have the time to make it, then buy it. Also, you might not have the equipment you need or the materials you need. You might not have access to a sewing machine, and there's a lot of sewing aspects, and hand sewing it would just be torture. And you might not have access to the prop making materials you need, or just to some basic things. So if you don't have access to that, then buying it definitely is looking like another pro. So another pro towards making a cosplay is, do you want to enter a competition with this? So if you're wanting to enter a contest at an upcoming convention, then definitely make it. Making it obviously is sometimes the only way you even qualify to be able to compete in the competition, and it's just a huge bonus in other smaller conventions. So another thing for me that just helps me decide whether or not I want to buy or make a cosplay is how used is this costume? Like, I mean, like, how many characters share this very same outfit or something very, very similar? For example, for me personally, I don't like to make schoolgirl costumes for like anyone that has like school uniforms and such. I don't like to make those because it's something that so many characters have that I would just find myself repeating the same things over and over and over and over and making a whole bunch of different colored schoolgirl skirts. And a last little note, because I know there is a lot of debate over this topic sometimes. I don't really know how to word this. Usually it's people who will say or ask, is it actually cosplaying if you don't make your costume? And the answer to this is, of course, no, none of that's true. I know plenty of cosplayers who buy and make or buy stuff to alter for their costumes, and they turn out wonderful and great, and it doesn't make them any less of a cosplayer than the ones who make it. There shouldn't be any sort of competition between buying and making your cosplay, as long as you're having fun and you're not being rude or disrespectful to people and you're just enjoying yourself and enjoying the character that you cosplayed and you're happy with your cosplay and you're confident in it, then buying versus making, you know, which one is better in terms of which one makes you a better cosplayer, it doesn't matter, and that entire concept is just nonsense. The only way that would actually come close to, you know, actually needing to be recognized is in a competition where it's focusing on craftsmanship. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you found it helpful, and maybe this will help you decide whether or not you should buy or make your next cosplay. So thanks for watching. Check out my other videos and I have more coming soon. Have a lovely day.